Good evening. Hope everybody's doing well. I I kind of reluctantly kind of came back. I don't know. I just this gets old after a while, and I can't give you any more information pretty much than I already have. We're all stuck in this wait and see moment, if you will, on many, many different things. And it's just like, I don't know. I just can't see necessarily the the value that I can add is what I'm getting at. I relaxed the days off. I didn't, there wasn't a lot of news really to get worked up about. And then, of course, last night, Russia struck Ukraine with a notable strike. And I think we're going to see things pick back up. But I think we had our calm before the storm, if you will. And I think we're going to not only see things ramp up just on a Russia-Ukraine level, I think we're going to see things bump up as far as NATO's involvement as well. So even though I get bored with reporting the same old stuff, it doesn't mean that it's not an issue. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't be continuing to get ready. Best case scenario I see for us is at some point we're going to be facing a grid down situation, an extended grid down situation. And when I say that, I don't even necessarily mean forever. It could even just be for 2 weeks or a month. How many people are prepared to deal with no electricity, even in, like, let's say the spring, right, where it's not too hot, not too cold, and even then it would be rough. I think we're going to see that. I think that's going to be one of the side effects of our involvement with what's going on with Ukraine. So we'll see. We'll see. It seems that, well, and it's a common thing. It's called military strategy, but it would seem that the power plants are a favorite for Putin to hit. And again, that's just a tactical move. That's what you do. It's called warfare. I think we're about to see a lot more on Russia's part. So, but again, I spent a couple of days. I actually got into flight sim a little bit here and there because, well, to be honest, I was pretty pissed off. Nothing serious. I just couldn't land at this runway, this airport, if you want to call it an airport. And it was driving me up a wall because I'm a pretty damn good pilot. And to find something that just gave me that much of a goofy, stupid challenge to cause that much of a goofy, stupid hiccup each time that I came into land actually was frustrating. Usually I don't get that way at all. But I actually got frustrated over this one. It's called Shark Tooth Ridge, and it's the mods put out by a company called Parallel 42. And, it's basic scenery. There's not a lot to it because it's a runway on the side of a mountain. And so makes for a real challenging. I do have a few screenshots that I took right there. That's if I unzoom the picture, but zoomed in right there, you might see a little yellow blip. That would be my plane. That's not my plane. That's static scenery there, but that would be my plane. To get to that runway, and I'll zoom in here, is up here. Okay, so to get to that, you have to fly around this little river canal at the correct altitude And you don't get to see the runway until you come around the bend here. That's when you actually get to see the runway. And, that's as you're coming around the bend, you get to see the runway. Like I said, you really just start to get a good fix on the runway. Now, you have to get lined up for that, which means you still even got to come up further up here. But I did manage it. This was kind of one of the humorous landings. This was actually the last one I did there. My plane, I actually... I just happened to whip it around, and the back of the plane, because it's a tail dragger and I had brakes on, the back of the plane lifted, and I set the tail right in between two rocks as I whipped it around because I was barely able to stop. Anyway, fun times. I am hoping there may be an opportunity come up for me to upgrade my video card. I am hoping I get the chance to do that, because if I do that, if I can get a better video card and have better graphics, I'm going to be doing some incredible video stuff. So, anyway, just figured I would show you Shark Tooth Ridge. That thing is a bear. Like 500 and something feet, I think, runway. That's all you got. At least it's uphill a little bit. That's a good thing. The hardest thing is to get an aircraft down and stopped before you get to the end. So, and then practice is everything. Once I spend, I don't know, a few more days flying at it with a few different aircraft, it'd be a stupid thing. I'll just cruise them right in there, stall them out right over the runway. But I have to get used to the airports and the aircraft. I haven't even been flying much, so let's see. I do have 5 tabs open? Not a ton, but we do have the headlines going all the way back from Friday. I didn't want to miss any. Not that there's anything real super notable. I mean, of course, there is here and there, but Friday and Saturday were pretty So, and then like I said last night, Russia decided to reach out and touch someone, and we'll just jump on there and get going. Moscow provides details on latest missile strikes against Ukraine. Now, this here says the Russian Defense Ministry has said that the latest missile strikes against Ukraine on Saturday hit all assigned targets. Earlier, Kiev's officials reported that the country's power grid had been damaged in several regions on the same day. On January 14, 2023, a missile attack was carried out on the military command and control system of Ukraine and associated energy facilities. All assigned targets have been hit. The objectives have been reached, the military said in its statement on Sunday. Multiple strikes were reported by Ukrainian officials and media outlets on Saturday, with Energy Minister German Galushenko claiming Russian missiles made it through to the multiple energy infrastructure sites across the country. Ukraine's largest private energy operator, DTEK, said that 2 of its thermal power stations came under attack. Footage circulating online suggests at least one of the facilities sustained heavy damage, with its main machinery hall destroyed. A residential building was heavily damaged amid the strikes in the southeastern Ukrainian city of Dnipro, also previously known, I can't say that. According to videos published on social media, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said that some 25 civilians were killed and 73 were injured. Kiev officials have laid the blame on Moscow, but giving differing accounts about what transpired. Moscow ramped up its strikes against Kiev's infrastructure. Well, let me comment on that. So, I guess there was somebody that works for Zelensky, an aide, that apparently made a comment to the effect of the missile that hit that residential building was actually a Russian missile that was falling out of the sky that Ukraine's missile defense system had hit. I don't know on that. The reason I say that is because there is very much reason to believe that the missile defense that Ukraine has won't even work against what was coming at them. So that's from my understanding. So to think that one actually got intercepted, I don't know, but that's the claim. So going on with what they're saying, Moscow ramped up its strikes against Kiev's infrastructure in early October of last year, citing repeated Ukrainian sabotage on Russian soil. The attacks followed the bombing of the Crimean Bridge, which Moscow blamed on Ukrainian military intelligence service and its Western partners. The attack was widely celebrated by top Ukrainian officials, and the country's postal service even released a commemorative stamp hours after the blast. One road section of the bridge was severely damaged, killing 3 civilians. However, Ukraine denied involvement. Let me see. Okay, the rest just goes into the history of what's gone on, but I think this was just a prelude to much, much more to come. I think they're going to hit them, and I think they're going to keep hitting them. And I think that's going to go on until NATO gets involved, and then I think it's just going to get stupid all over quick. NATO is already promising more heavy weapons for Ukraine. Of course, that shouldn't be a surprise, especially if you've been around here for long. And we're going to be talking attack helicopters here in a moment. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said on Saturday that Ukraine would receive more heavy warfare equipment from the West in the near future. The UK has already pledged tanks to the country, and Germany is under pressure to follow suit. A U.S.-led contact group for arming Ukraine will meet on Friday. Remember, I told you within 2 to 3 weeks after they said that they weren't going to provide them, they'll be announcing that they are. Time's not up yet. We are in a crucial phase of the war, Stoltenberg told Germany's Handelsblatt newspaper on Sunday, days after the Ukraine lost the strategically important Donbass town of Soledar to Russian troops. We are experiencing heavy fighting, the NATO chief continued. It is therefore important that we equip Ukraine with the weapons it needs to be able to win. Recent weeks have seen a dramatic escalation in the equipment promised to Ukraine by NATO's largest powers. The U.S., France, and Germany simultaneously announced at the beginning of the month that they would donate infantry fighting vehicles to the Ukrainian military, while the UK officially confirmed on Saturday that it would send 14 Challenger 2 main battle tanks. The recent pledges for heavy warfare equipment are important, and I expect more in the near future, Stoltenberg told Handelsblatt. Further weapons packages will likely be announced after the U.S.-led Defense Contact Group meets on Friday at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. This panel of nearly 50 countries has met 7 times already since Russia's military operation in Ukraine began last February, with each meeting followed by fresh pledges of military aid from America and its allies. So expect it. Expect it. Now, there's also some other information that it's working its way out, and I'm sure this is also something that will be discussed on Friday. Let me have a drink of coffee. I mean, because you can only have so many meetings, you know. Might as well get a couple of notches of steps approved all at once here on Friday, the way I see it. We're going to be full-blown stupid into this very soon. I just don't see any other way. I look at it from as many different angles as I can, and I see conflict no matter what, because NATO's not going to back off. Russia's not going to back off. This is going to go down. And whether it's something that, you know, it's all deals behind closed doors, or whether this is just authentic and genuine, it doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. We still have to have the same things in, you know, ready to go. Same things. Doesn't change. I would say trust no one, especially if they're related to government in any way. It's going to get stupid. All right. So I said we were going to talk about helicopters. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This has been said, it's been said that this is incorrect. And what I think happened is I think information got ahead of itself a little bit. They weren't ready for this announcement yet. But it says here, Britain to send attack helicopters to Ukraine. And important right here, they make sure right at the top, an update. Said in a statement to Sky News on Sunday, the British Ministry of Defense described the report as incorrect. So, just to give that official disclaimer there, we are going to cover that. But this here says Britain will reportedly supply Ukraine with up to 4 AH-64 Apache attack helicopters to fight against Russian forces, a senior defense source told Sunday People, an outlet that shares a website with the Mirror. The news comes after Prime Minister Rishi Sunak confirmed that the UK would provide Kiev with a squadron of 14 Challenger 2 tanks and additional artillery systems. The Apache will be a major game changer. The tanks will arrive first, and it will take a while before helicopters can be deployed. The source was quoted as saying other NATO members will now follow suit. Anything sound wrong with that, or does it pretty much sound in line with the way everything else has gone? Pretty much sounds in line to me. The source said that more helicopters would be needed to make a strategic impact on the battlefield, but the first batch of Apaches would be a major step nonetheless. According to the report, the aircraft would be armed with AGM-114 Hellfire anti-armor missiles. According to the Sunday People, Ukrainian pilots will be trained in Britain while a maintenance base will be set up in Poland or another neighboring country. Seems like a pretty detailed account to me. It doesn't seem to me like just something somebody pulled out of their butt. I think the problem here is that they weren't supposed to say anything yet. And I think that this is something that will be inked and signed on Friday, along with main battle tanks, U.S. main battle tanks, and I know they're already getting them. I believe there's a country that's providing them with the Abrams. Thought there was talk of a country doing it. Can't remember which one off the top of my head. Might have been Poland. I think Poland, maybe. They were going to give them, I believe, M1 Abrams, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah. Crazy, crazy. Now, London is saying that the helicopter thing is not true. So let's see what they have to say. British government has denied a media report claiming that it would supply Ukraine with AH-64 Apache attack helicopters, Sky News stated on Sunday. The UK still intends to donate a handful of tanks and artillery guns. In an article that has since been deleted, the Sunday People, the newspaper that shares a website with the Mirror, claimed that the arrival of the U.S.-made choppers would be a major game changer for Ukraine's forces, which recently lost the strategically important Donbass town of Soledar to Russian forces, sustaining horrific losses in the process. Citing an unnamed senior defense source, the paper said that other NATO members will now follow suit and donate their own helicopters. However, the article was incorrect, the Ministry of Defense told Sky News correspondent Deborah Haynes. While the Ukrainian military will not get its hands on the Apaches, the UK still intends to ship a squadron of 14 Challenger 2 tanks to Kiev in the coming weeks, as well as around 30 AS-90 self-propelled artillery guns. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak's office confirmed the arms package on Saturday, and Defense Secretary Ben Wallace is expected to announce further details on Monday, which would be after Friday. Ukraine has yet, or tomorrow, but I think they're probably going to be making a big announcement come next Friday, not this coming Friday. Or Monday, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't think they're talking necessarily tomorrow. I think they're talking about next Monday. I got my days mixed up. Ukraine has yet to receive any Western-designed combat aircraft from its NATO backers, despite repeated pleas from Kiev for fighter jets in particular. Well, yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want some fighter jets? I mean, come on. Biden still got me back-ordered on my F-15. I don't know what the hell. Bet he forgot. Bet he forgot. He told me we were in the foxhole in Nam, and he said, I'm going to get you that F-15, son. I'm going to do it. We were taking all kinds of flack. Said, even if I don't make it out of here, I'm going to get you that F-15. I still haven't gotten the damn thing. Oh, sorry. Started telling one of my Nam stories again. Oh. Hell, Biden might remember it. I bet that if I was to ask him if he remembered it, there's a 50-50 chance he would say yeah and go along with it. And then want to sniff my hair. But anyway, Dr. Doom predicts the world is headed for stagflation, which is probably more important to you than Biden sniffing me. Let's see. The period of relative calm in the global economy has ended, and what lies ahead is an era of stagflation, meaning a time of slow growth coinciding with higher unemployment and rising inflation. Renowned economist and New York University professor Nouriel Roubini said on Friday. I'll get it right, maybe. According to Roubini, who was among the first to predict the 2008 financial crisis, today's situation may be even worse given the host of risks and mega threats the world is facing. In the short term, there are risks related to the war in Ukraine, of course, to inflation, and to the specter of a financial crisis which could arise in the next few months or in the next 2 or 3 years. Think we're already there, homie. Added to this are mega threats likely to materialize more or less severely in the long term, starting with climate change, geopolitical tensions, which could degenerate into nuclear war between great powers, and socio-political instability. He said in an interview with the French news outlet Le Monde. Now, I mean, is socio-political better than pathic? Because that's what we have in office now. Let's see. Rubini, dubbed Dr. Doom by Wall Street, argued that the general consensus that inflationary pressures are temporary and that raising rates will temper soaring prices and provide for a soft landing of the economy is wrong, along with many other economists saying that they're wrong. I think the landing will not be soft but harsh and associated with financial stress, raising interest rates while the economy is losing momentum with an overall level of debt much higher than in the 1970s could cause a collapse in stock and bond markets, which could deepen the recession, he stated. According to the economist, part of the solution will necessarily involve inflation, which reduces the debt burden. I'm not saying inflation is desirable, but I don't see how to avoid it. The era of the great moderation is over. We're entering the great stagflation. Rubini also warned of a potential trade war between the West and a group of revisionist powers, namely Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea, which could lead to a fragmentation of globalization and a relocalization of production chains, increasing global insecurity. Well, I would say this. If we are reestablishing local production chains, we're going to be actually increasing security, not insecurity. The economist urged the global community to learn from history and mobilize forces to prevent a further worsening of the crisis. We lived like zombies who got back to sleep despite the alarm ringing, and who have forgotten that history is not linear. The creation of major international institutions enabled us to reconnect with a period of relative peace and prosperity, but believing that such an era can last is a mistake. The main stages of grief are denial, anger, depression, and acceptance. If we look at our problems squarely in the face, we can wake up and start mobilizing, but we're still stuck somewhere between denial and anger. So, interesting take on the economy, or the economy, however you prefer to say it. You know, potato, round earth, flat earth, vegan, meat eater. Sane families, the Biden family, right? We always have to have the contrasts. What the hell do you want, phone? Fun times. Like I said, I think we're in for a hell of a time. I do think that there's going to be an issue when it comes to the Ukraine conflict. I do think that issue is going to come here, and we'll see. But I fully suspect we're going to have grid problems. Obviously, supply chain issues. I don't think it's going to be any fun. And I think that we're just about to go around that corner. It's insane. Anywho, I got some headlines to go over. I do have all the ones from Friday, or all the way back from Friday. It's not that there was a host of really important stuff. But nonetheless, there was enough that I figured out, well, I better cover all 3 days. So, anyway, other than that, I got much of nothing. Let's see. Britain. This is Friday's news. Britain and EU enter talks to settle Brexit disputes. Japanese cut spending amid highest inflation in 40 years, says a survey. The dog is scruffing over by the front door, and I don't know why. Hello? Hey, do you want me to put you on the news, young lady? Because I will totally put you on the news. Oh, really? Really? Wow, that really ticked her off, I guess. Anyway. Oh, no, she laid down. I think I heard her throwing herself down on the futon. I thought she was on the floor. Anyway, where was I? Poland issues update on deployment of German-supplied Patriots. Indian town rapidly sinking, space agency warns. UFO sightings on the rise, says the Pentagon. Russia-China trade hits record high. Strategic Donbass town of Soledar fully liberated, says the MOD. Again, this was Friday's headlines. U.S. lawmakers issue warning to State Department. Winklevoss twins crypto venture charged with selling unregistered securities. Bad boys. U.S. State Senator calls Ukrainian troops a threat. Turkey summons Swedish ambassador over Erdogan effigy. I mean, he just said F-U-G, right? Kiev envoy explains postponed Israel-Ukraine phone call. Oh, that's not a like a Hispanic thing? F-U-G? No, effigy. Okay. Okay. It's confused. Food cost in Spain soaring. Ukraine legalizes foreigners in neo-Nazi regiment. NATO ramps up presence in Ukraine's neighbor. Ukraine is a de facto NATO member, says Kiev. A Western-mediated Kosovo and Ukraine deals were lies, says Serbia. Let's see. Hungary and culture shock from German policy, says Orban. EU sees number of illegal immigration, sees record number of illegal immigration attempts. China warns West to stop creating imaginary enemies. Probably good advice. UK sets date for Ukraine tank announcement, says Guardian. EU looks for targets in 10th round of anti-Russia sanctions. Even I handle classified documents better, Snowden says on the Biden scandal. ISIS beetle vanishes from U.S. prison records. That's amazing how that happened. Germany cautions Poland about illegal arms supplies to Ukraine. UK schools ban all physical contact. Yep, you heard that. UK schools ban all physical contact. I knew that was going to be coming. They do not want people interacting with each other. They don't. They want to minimize any actual contact you have with other human beings. Because they're trying to desensitize us. And they've succeeded. They've so well succeeded in desensitizing us. Think about all the things that people just glance over without thinking about it, without putting even just a moment or two into thinking about what it would be like to be in that situation. You know, we're talking everything from natural disasters to war to whatever. You know, a lot of people that aren't in that situation don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. Anyway, this is insane too. Super soldiers, alarming strategy to make U.S. troops immune from everything. And they're basically, you know, this comprises a lot of stuff, but, a good part of it was stuff that they learned from the whole mRNA adventure that they went on. And now they essentially want to come up with a concoction for soldiers that I guess it's a one-shot-fits-all ordeal. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on YouTube or Facebook. I don't understand it all. I'm hoping that Dr. Chris Martenson might run across this and speak on it, because it's pretty crazy. Again, I was fully expecting it at some point, but still crazy. Israel halts subsidies to Ukraine immigrants, says media. Explosion hits Baltic gas pipeline. Talks with Russia are right and necessary, says Germany's biggest parliamentary faction. Let's see. What? Which link? Just let me know which one. I'll get it for you. Oh, you're probably talking about the one for the military, right? Yeah, okay. I just got to thinking, I was like, you're probably talking about that. Hang on. Let me open it. Because I don't know if that would have got you there. That should, though. That should get you there. Let's see. U.S. threatens Serbia with deep freeze, says media. Black professor declared racist over hoodie ban. German defense minister to resign, says media. You're welcome. Let's see. Russian Ministry of Defense praises selfless Wagner fighters. Again, this is, that was Friday's news. Now we're starting on Saturday's news. After a sip of coffee, or 10. Fun. Okay. I think I got the blood down in my nicotine system. Alright, let's see. World Bank slashes global growth forecast. You don't say. Inflation in Sweden hits 3-decade high. Russia outlines endgame for Ukraine conflict. Ex-Brazilian president to be investigated over riots. Exactly. I know hexafruits. I've been seeing a lot of them talking about using the mRNA for just tons of stuff because it allows them to do what they've never been able to do before, and it allows them to really get in there and pretty much do anything they please. It's kind of scary. Let's see. Bitcoin regains post-FTX collapse losses. Let's see. South American nation's president calls out foreign infiltrators. Maduro mulls creating new regional bloc allied to Russia and China. U.S. warned of default. Total number of recovered Biden documents revealed, says CBS. Oh, no, but wait, there's more. Ex-Russian president shames Japan over nuclear remarks. A princess refuses to vacate villa hosting Caravaggio painting. Russia warns of Western dominance over UN agency. Twitter wants to lure back advertisers with free ads, says Wall Street Journal. Hungary can't replace Russian oil and gas, says an official. Let's see. CDC must investigate deadly vaccine side effects, says Republican lawmaker. Almost all Hungarians oppose sanctions on Russia, says a survey. Paris highlights risk from U.S. cyber defense team, says Le Monde, or however you say the name. Trump organization given maximum fine for fraud. Let's see. Trump, I read that one. Iran executes former deputy defense minister. I take it he made a mistake. Let's see. New wave of strikes reported against Ukrainian power grid. I don't know if this was the same one. I think so. Germany orders Holocaust survivor institutionalized over COVID-19 shot, because we should be coming into today's news here pretty quick, I would think. A U.S. senator aims to block $20 billion deal with NATO member. Nord Stream must be repaired, says German state official. Santa Claus toys stuffed with cocaine stopped in New York. Right? I mean, I wasn't hoping for cocaine. I was actually hoping for the lumps of coal to help stay warm with. But, you could either burn the coal or you could snort the cocaine. That'd keep you plenty warm right up until your heart explodes. But more classified documents found at Biden residence. And I believe that there's even more since that one. So, drive-by shooting outside London church injures 4. UK PM confirms tank shipment to Ukraine. China reports record number of COVID-19 deaths. Kosovo PM trying to become new Zelensky, says Vucic. A minister falls asleep during the live TV interview. We got a president that does that. Let's see. Bodyguard of German governor suspended over extremism, says media. Ankara calls for local ceasefires in Ukraine. And now we are to today's news. After coffee. Oh, is that, oh. Well, I mean, is he supposed to be missing the opening of it? Because he doesn't feel well? Is that correct? Because, wishful thinking and all. I wish he would feel the desire to jump off of a building. I do too. Along with a lot of them. All right. Global imports of LNG hit all-time high, says data. Imagine that. Let's see. Oh, that went out twice, I guess. Russian forex reserves keep growing. Passenger aircraft crashes in Nepal. Zelensky aide explains how missile fell on apartment block in Dnipro. And that's what I was talking about that missile that, they admitted was their fault, but I don't know. Gas market to remain volatile for years, says Qatar. State of emergency declared in Peru amid deadly protests. Former Twitter workers denied group lawsuit over layoffs. Let's see. Britain to send attack helicopters to Ukraine. Oh, wait. I covered that. Russian economy is stable, says Putin. German arms manufacturer weighs in on tank deliveries to Ukraine. Putin provides assessment of Ukraine campaign. Chemical plant destroyed in explosion. That was in China. Moscow provides details on latest missile strikes against Ukraine. Oh, I read that one. U.S. Supreme Court to consider work on Sunday case. Basically, somebody's fighting for the right to be able to have off Sunday for the Sabbath. And they should have that right. That shouldn't be questioned. And apparently it is. So we'll see, but I'm not going to hold my breath because workers' rights have been absolutely crapped on for the last several decades. So all that the labor movement achieved was lost, for the most part. Impeach war criminal Biden over Ukraine, says U.S. Democrat. EU needs war economy, says veteran German diplomat. They know where things are going. Congressman wore stolen scarf to stop the steel rally, says ex-roommate. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. NATO promises more heavy weapons for Ukraine. I might have read that one. Asian country aims to ramp up arms sales to UAE. Biden documents may have jeopardized U.S. security, says Democrat lawmaker. Ukrainian blogger calls for genocide of all Russians. Zelensky aide flip-flops on apartment block blast. Zelensky rolls out new anti-Russian sanctions, because that's going to do something. And lastly, Hunter Biden files to block daughter from taking his name, says media. So, yeah, because out of everything going on with their family right now, that's important. Insanity. It never ends. It never ends. I think if Ukraine likes Biden so much and Hunter so much, we just need to ship their asses over there. Right? Instead of all this money and all these arms, let's just send them the Bidens. Let the Bidens deal with it, right? You know? It's crazy. Absolutely nuts. Anyway, I am going to get the hell out of here because that's all the news I've got. God willing, I'll be back tomorrow and we'll see what other kind of nonsense I can come up with while trying to tell you the news. Because that seems to be what I do. Anyway, I appreciate everybody coming. I hope to see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.